Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. Breaking tonight is Barack Obama's presidency imploding. Al-Qaeda is resurging, Iraq is disintegrating, and now we may look to Iran to help us stop it. Iran, a terrorist regime responsible for the deaths of thousands of Americans. What could possibly go wrong? We have drawn red lines in Syria we refuse to enforce. We stood by as Russia seized part of Ukraine. And now we are releasing top Taliban leaders as the Afghanistan war is still going. Not to worry, they tell us Qatar's going to watch them for a year, we hope. Domestically, we have a president who has lost the trust of the American people by repeatedly misleading them. He bypasses Congress, the people's representatives, on matters ranging from Obamacare to immigration law, to the point where one of the most respected liberal law professors in the country has called our president the very danger the Constitution was designed to avoid. The American public overwhelmingly regrets Obamacare. Our veterans are dying, waiting to see doctors. The IRS intimidates conservative groups. The southern border is compared to a sieve. And the president assures us not to worry, smiling, golfing, and at this very moment, partying with fashion queen Anna Wintour. Because the fundraising never stops. Not when 4 Americans die in Benghazi, and not when Baghdad is at the brink. Joining us now with reaction, our senior political analyst, Britt Hume. Britt?
Well, that's a pretty powerful indictment, Megyn, and I kind of wish I could take issue with any of its individual parts, and I really can't. In fact, I would add one more thing, which is that if you think of the issue that elected Barack Obama, the issue that was an avalanche on the Republican ticket in 2008, it was the economy. And here we are now, how many years into this administration, and we have not had anything like the robust recovery that we're accustomed to seeing after recessions, and especially indeed after deep recessions. The unemployment rate is still persistently high, and it's down from what it was, but mostly that's because the workforce has been shrunk. Not exactly a great achievement. So if you're looking at what the American people are feeling and sensing, that would have to be very high on the list. And of course, as they look out across the landscape of our borders and across the world, there seem to be problems virtually everywhere, and it is hard to point to a place where things are really better than they were. There may be a few, but they're not the main ones.
On the foreign policy front, you've got editorials like the one that appeared in the New York Daily News today, not exactly known for its right-wing leanings. The toll wreaked by his disengagement from the world and retreat from the use of American influence is severe. The world is reaping what Obama helped sow, they write. Is it true? Because more and more we are hearing that his policies have not only changed America, Britt, but have changed the landscape of the world.
Well, I think, Megyn, that he had an idea, and it was a big idea, which was basically this as far as American foreign policy in the world is concerned, which is that the American footprint in the world was too big, and had done much harm, and that we as a nation, because of our foreign adventures and the way we threw our weight around, were a big part of the problem. And if we withdrew and shrank our footprint, that things would get better. He says now that he believes deeply in American exceptionalism, but I think that he's just saying that. He didn't really, and of course you may recall, he famously said at an earlier time that he believed that we were exceptional in the same way the Greeks believed that they're exceptional. Mm-hmm. And I think what he did was he tried to diminish our footprint around the world in the view that would eliminate this major aggravating factor in the world, which was the United States' presence in foreign lands and their military. Well, he's done it. We're out of Iraq. We're seeing what's happening there. We're getting out of Afghanistan. The enemy has known for some time that we are, and it's not at all clear to me that clearly look, you can blame George Bush for getting us into Afghanistan, but he bequeathed to into Iraq, but he bequeathed to to Obama a lot better situation than we have there now.
Joe Biden was saying it was going to be one of the greatest successes of the administration.
Well, that's right, and of course, I think that the president really believes that leaving is a kind of is winning, and we're finding out that that's not true. That this American exceptionalism that people have talked about means that we practice around the world a kind of diplomacy backed by the threat of force, and I think the history of the last century or more has shown that when we do that, we are a force for good. I think this president did not believe that.
How about the history of this presidency? How is it looking now? Because more and more over the past year, we've heard Barack Obama being compared as, we've heard Bobby Jindal, John McCain say he's worse than President Carter. I mean, those are Republicans who are obviously going to be critics of the president. Fair comparison? How is he stacking up now?
Well, look, I hate to say it because, you know, I'm an American. I wanted a robust recovery. I wanted a more peaceful world. We don't have it. He's failing. I don't think there's much question about it. Things I suppose could turn around, but it's hard for me to imagine that the same policies, which he seems hesitant to change, are going to bring anything but similar results going forward. So I think we're looking at a failed presidency.
Good to see you, Brett.
Thanks, Megyn.